California. The emergency room where a 20-year-old student athlete was taken after he collapsed at a basketball practice, was numb all over, vomiting, and suffered from a severe anxiety attack. But the doctor at the hospital seemed the farthest thing from compassionate. She actually laughed in his face bedside, and she accused him of just coming in for narcotics. A woman who must have taken the Hippocratic Oath to treat her patients the best she can, but whose bedside manner has now gone viral for unhinged personal treatment that just gets worse and worse.
He wasn't playing basketball when he has it, and when he's going around, yeah, when he has these and he's throwing up and he's going in and out of consciousness. I literally saw him go in and out of consciousness.
He is completely awake and alert right now.
He is, but if he leaves this hospital, he's going to have another anxiety attack just like that one, because he's in the same shape that he was in when he came in.
Sure, and he doesn't have Klonopin because he doesn't have his Klonopin.
It took 4 hours to get through. So what was I supposed to do?
I'm sorry, sir. You were the least sick of all the people who are here who are dying.
Okay.
There, so you picked your head up. Now, don't try to tell me you can't move. Come on, sit up.
I can pick my head up.
Yeah, sit up. Sit up.
Dude,
sit up. Sit up. I'm having you sit up.
I can't get up.
Kizzy, he needs to sit up, and he won't let me.
She's literally yanking my arm to get up.
I am literally helping you up.
You're helping me? I can't get up. I can lift my arm to this extent.
You want us to wheel you to your house in the gurney?
That's not what I said.
You just lifted your head just fine.
Yes, I lifted my head and my arms up to here.
Yes.
After that, I cannot
put your hands on here and pull yourself up.
I cannot do that.
Yes, you can.
I cannot do it in the ambulance. I cannot do it now.
You can do it now.
I just tried to inhale, and I even told her I could not inhale.
He can't inhale. Wow. He must be dead. Are you dead, sir? I don't understand. You are breathing just fine.
This is not right, because I'm telling you, when you see him, he is breathing. He has labored breathing.
He's not labored in the least. He's got an oxygen saturation that is 100%. He is breathing perfectly normally. This is not labored breathing.
So you're just saying that you just let him lay down in here and he's going to go back to normal. This pain that he has doesn't have anything to do with what's going on with him, right?
This pain that he has is because he worked out.
When he went to the emergency room the last time, he had pain.
And what did they do for him?
They gave him fluids and they gave him something, a pill. I don't know what they gave him. Yeah.
For what?
For his pain and for the anxiety.
So you need narcotics? Is that what you need?
Oh, here we go. So you need narcotics. Did I say any narcotics? I just need pain reliever and anxiety medication. Because I'm in pain and I have anxiety. And I said nothing about narcotics.
And you just told me that this was not an anxiety attack, that this was something totally different.
If I could get up off this chair, I really would. But
yeah, you really should, because this is ridiculous.
I can't.
So this is the doctor, Beth Keegstra, MD. And Dr. Keegstra is no longer working in that emergency room. And we haven't heard anything from her, despite our attempts to connect. But the hospital has issued a statement, and it's pretty clear. They're saying our contracted provider for emergency services, Vituity California Emergency Physicians, has been notified to permanently remove this physician from the list of approved physicians assigned to provide emergency care at our hospitals. And that's not all. The statement goes on to say, a patient who visited the emergency department at our Los Gatos campus had an interaction with a physician whose demeanor was unprofessional and not the standard we require of all who provide care through El Camino Hospital. Joining me now on the phone, Samuel Bardwell. He was the patient being taunted bedside by that doctor during the trip to the ER. Donald Bardwell is Samuel's father, who very wisely decided to roll tape. Dr. Devi Nampiaparam, did I say it right? Nampiaparam?
Nampiaparampil, but close enough.
Nampiaparampil, I missed one, I'm sorry. Nampiaparampil, I'm going to practice, is a clinical associate professor at NYU School of Medicine, and defense attorney Brian Claypool is with me as well. You know, Samuel, let me begin with you if I can. First and foremost, how are you doing? Are you okay today?
I'm all right. I mean, throughout the week that it's been, since it's been 7 days, I can still feel it, you know what I mean? Because I've been through emergency room visits before, but nothing like that before, ever. I mean, you know, the day after I had to call into school, call into work, email my professors. It was very inconvenient for me. You know, I have a really busy schedule. I play basketball also, so it was just inconvenient. I'm not the person to, you know, ever miss anything. So I could not lift my body out of bed the next day. They left me out of there with no help. So, I mean, today, I mean, it just had to go by. My body has to cure itself by itself day by day. So today, I mean, I'm still probably on a scale from 1 to 10. I'm still at like a 5 because, I mean, the day after I was still at a 10. That's why I couldn't go to work. I couldn't go to school. So she messed me up pretty bad and left me out of there. I mean, she even left saying, you know, put him in an IV and get him the hell out of here. So
that was the last thing. Put him in an IV and get him the hell out of. Can I ask you, Samuel, how long were you in that condition where you felt you could not sit up, and yet you could not get this doctor to, I don't know, at least listen to what your concerns were without debate and argument? How long were you in that circumstance that we see you in the video?
It was, I believe, 4 hours, but it never ended. I mean, because like I said, she left me there saying, put him in an IV and get him the hell out of here. And then after that, I was still in pain, you know what I mean? I was still in so much agonizing pain on a scale from 1 to 10. I was at 10, and I had to get myself off of the bed inch by inch myself. No one was helping me, and, you know, my dad was helping me out a little bit. But it's just, you know, it even hurt to touch me, and she even yanked my arm, which made it even worse. But I had to get into a wheelchair, and even on the way out, she was still mugging me. Like, she just wanted to get me out of there still. So she was still, you know, giggling and laughing after the whole incident. She thought it was a joke. She thought she had a great start to her shift, I guess.
So Donald, let me ask you, as Samuel's dad, I don't know how you kept your composure. I think I would have reached across that gurney and strangled her for speaking to my child that way. My child who had, and let me just remind our viewers, had vomited, felt numb, and collapsed outside of basketball practice. Previously diagnosed with anxiety and post-traumatic stress disorder, has been prescribed Klonopin in the past. So clearly someone with a clear medical history. How did you keep your cool and just decide to do what you did, which was roll tape?
Basically, I kept feeling like if I said anything that would upset her any further, that we would be asked to leave the hospital, and I just didn't want him to die leaving the hospital, because I have seen him in those conditions where, like this time I didn't see him because it happened at school, but previously I've seen him. I've been there before he was taken to the hospital, and I saw him, you know, throwing up, and I saw his eyes roll back in his head, and I saw him shake violently, and so I knew that all these symptoms that he was saying were true, and I just wanted, my goal was to just have him examined, because I wasn't even sure if what had happened was even related to anxiety. I didn't really know what was going on, so I was hoping that he was going to get some kind of examination to at least try to see if there was something further that was going on or anything. And I felt like if I said the wrong thing, that we were going to be asked to leave. If I felt like she was fishing for me to be able to say something so she would have a reason to act the way she was, so I didn't want to give her that. So ultimately, I just tried to play it cool, because I thought, well, we were trying, all I wanted was my son to be seen, and I had no idea that I was going to have to beg for it, you know?
Yeah.
So
I tell you what, I've got to be honest with you, Donald. The whole time I watched this, I kept wondering, when is Donald, at the time I didn't know your name, but I thought, when is that father going to say, excuse me, but may we have another doctor, please? May we see someone else? We are clearly not getting anywhere, but you were just so patient. And I want to play a little bit more from your tape. I just need to explain to our viewers that the video becomes sort of frozen, but you can hear the entire dialogue between the Bardwells and this doctor. Have a listen.
I'm full of shit. I'm full of shit.
He is.
And I'm sorry, because, you know, I came in here wanting to help you, and you're turning your story around. You're changing your story. Yes, you are. You're making all different kinds of, you know, you're saying one thing and then you're telling me another thing, and then you go back to the first thing.
Like you?
So sometimes his
Like you?
So sometimes
what? I'm not saying I'm not changing anything.
You're not?
No. I'm not saying anything different than what I've said the whole time.
Like me.
No, you have changed your story every time.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's how pissed off you've gotten me, okay?
Well, I didn't do anything.
Yes, you did. So, put an IV in him, give him a liter of fluid, and we'll get him out of here. That's what he says he needs. He's obviously a doctor, and he knows what he needs.
Dr. Nampia Parampal, first of all, just your overall reaction. And I want to be clear, we've only seen a part of what was on tape. We haven't seen everything that led up to that, or what led up to it and what led out of it. But just from what you've seen, the 4 minutes or so of tape that you've seen.
I mean, it's unacceptable. This type of behavior is completely unacceptable.
There's just no defense, no excuse, nothing here.
Not in my opinion. I mean, on top of the lack of professionalism, it's also an abuse of power, right? You have somebody coming in for help, and this is the person they're turning to.
Oh, she's yanking
this
him.
way.
Watch her pull at him, saying, sit up, and he's saying, I can't. And she says, yes, you can, and she starts pulling.
Yeah, I'm very sorry that both the father and the son had to go through this just as a medical professional, right? Some of the things that it kind of, that kind of struck me is that, just as Mr. Bardwell said, that how do you know for sure that this is anxiety versus something going on with, his son's heart, right, or his son's lungs? So these are things that should be looked at.
By the way, there was something telling at the beginning. She barked at this patient, saying, "You're the least sick person who came in here today," almost as though she was angry that others in the waiting room may have deserved more care. But I mean, in an ER, there's a system whereby you get treatment.
Exactly, and we're not comparing one patient to another in terms of how they feel, right? You might see someone who's maybe more immediately sick first, so some other folks may have to wait. But at the same time, there are things that are being reported just in the larger context about the emergency room and physician burnout. So this seems to be an area, I'm not saying that's an excuse, but about 65% of ER physicians have reported burnout.
Well, and some of them also have this fear that anybody who's coming in is at risk for being a narcotics shopper, feigning all sorts of conditions just so that they can get. We're in a crisis in this
That's true.
country, an opioid crisis whereby anybody will say and fake anything. Now, it sounded to me like Samuel Bardwell has quite a history.
Well,
and his dad was there to sort of be the arbiter of what had happened.
Well, and there are ways to check on this, right? So one option is to ask the person for medical records or if something can be sent. Nowadays we have emails and
by
phone,
the way,
right?
your dad is with you. Your dad is not going to be, typically going to be the guy who's there saying, let's go cheat the system and fake a
but
collapse
even
at
if
the
you have
basketball
a
court.
bottle of pills from the past, right? So this was an issue where they couldn't get to the pharmacy in time. So if you have the old one, you have the prescribing physician's name. You can also check in the system. There are ways to know if someone's got these medications.
When she suggested, "Oh, I get it. You're here for some narcs, for some narcotics," and I could hear Samuel saying, "Oh, here we go." Like that's obviously what she thinks of me.
No, it's
you
very
can hear him
unfortunate.
clearly saying, "That's not what I'm here for."
That's true. I mean, either way, he has to be treated for the anxiety, right? And make sure there's nothing else going on. Either way, the person has to be treated with respect, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not like she had to make a decision with no information at all. I mean, you can check medical records. You can check to see what's been prescribed in the past from the pharmacy. And then you can treat the patient as you should.
Let's not even go to all the S-bombs and F-bombs and all the rest.
Of course.
Brian Claypool, jump in on this, if you will. That video is pretty clear. Is it pretty damning?
Ashley, thanks for having me back. Always nice to see you. This is really personal to me because, as you know, I survived the Las Vegas shooting. In fact, I talked to you within, a few hours after that shooting. So I've been diagnosed with PTSD, and I have now an anxiety disorder that I'm coping with. And I have to tell you, doing this segment, when I saw that tape, I've had heart palpitations. I have heart palpitations now watching that tape. It is so demeaning to Mr. Bardwell that this alleged doctor minimizes his condition. PTSD is real. His anxiety is real. I woke up a few weeks ago in the middle of the night with an anxiety attack. I had trouble breathing. I had to run outside my house. I almost ran down the street to the fire station. This is real stuff. And to see a purported doctor treat this young man like a piece of meat is criminal. Why are the prosecutors not charging her with criminal assault and battery for grabbing his arm and trying to drag him out of that bed?
All of it looks very very uncomfortable. I did mention before, we have not seen what happened leading up to the tape, leading out of the tape, and context is always very important as well. What is on the tape, without question, is troubling. And you know, I tried to look for the defense of this doctor in saying what you said, Dr. Devi, exhaustion, those who come in narcotics shopping, and all these frustrations. But ultimately, just being human, she seemed to fall below the base level of just sort of being human. I have to leave it there, but Samuel, I hope you're going to be okay. I hope you're feeling better, and thank you to you and your dad, Donald, for coming on and sharing this story with us. Dr. Devi, thank you for your